Water as far as the eye can see. The coastline of Oman on the western edge of the Indian Ocean is 1,700 kilometers long. This country on the Arabian Peninsula is legendary for its bold seafarers, its skillful boat builders, and fish stocks so abundant that the coastal inhabitants are positively spoilt. But stretching out only a few kilometers inland, hot and barren, is the endless stony desert of Oman. Bizarre yet possessing a strange beauty, the mighty Hajar range rises to a height of more than 3,000 meters. Yet in the midst of this barrenness, there is luxuriance. Oases with an abundance of water and lush vegetation. Such are the natural contrasts of Oman. In this desert land, finding springs and skillfully utilizing the little fresh water available has become the basis of survival. No civilization on Earth has developed an irrigation system like the one found in Oman. The Aflage form a system of water distribution channels that has defined an entire society for more than 4,000 years. "2,000 meters up in the Hajar Mountains, Mazboot explains to Salim, his son, the rules that govern the water. Maxims that are handed down from generation to generation. Where does the water come from? On what basis is it distributed, and how? Help comes from the sun, the moon, and the stars. In Al-Jila, a tiny oasis settlement in the mountains, there is no electricity, let alone satellite reception. Time here is measured by the position of the sun. The sluices of the reservoir, which is fed sparingly but constantly by a mountain spring, are opened in line with astronomical rules and social needs, depending on how many members a family has to feed. The water is distributed to people, animals, and plants. Because of the limited amount of water available, the hamlet of Al-Jila can feed no more than 60 people. This is how it has been for several hundred years. And that's how old the viaduct is, which supplies the gardens clinging to the mountainside. Here, life itself seems detached from time and follows only one principle, ensuring an adequate supply of water. Responsibility for the water lies with the Council of Village Elders, who discuss and organize its distribution and determine when the channels need maintenance and the viaduct renovation. All that matters here is preserving what exists already. Constructing a new system or extending the old one is out of the question. In Al-Jila, the volume of water determines the shape of life in the arid mountains of Oman. People in Niswa, the secret capital of Oman, live a life of plenty. Located in a depression behind the range of mountains, Niswa is the country's busy trading center, a place with a long history and ancient traditions. This is where all the arteries of the old and the new Oman converge. Here, regional sheikhs still hold sway over rural communities. The town's prosperity, its architectural elegance, its appeal as a meeting place and commercial center all stem from one sole factor. Niswa has always had water in abundance. The Daris Falaj is the biggest source of fresh water in Oman. The water is fed to the town through 8 kilometers of underground tunnels. One of the few places where it flows openly is in this park, where it's enjoyed by the local inhabitants. This makes Niswa a highly popular location, especially for traders who want to know their live goods, like sheep, are well looked after. Every Friday from 6 in the morning, traders from all over the surrounding area offer their breeding ewes and goats for sale. It's a centuries-old ritual and a carnival of status symbols, which involves more than just haggling over prices. The origin of the animals, which wadi or tribe they come from, is just as important as the honor of the breeder. And this is measured not by the number of wives, children and animals, or the amount of land he has, but by how much water he can lay claim to. The more finely forged a silver dagger is, the higher the wearer's social status. In those areas of Oman, like Niswa, where there is more than enough water to enable a community to survive, it's even traded. It's sold or even auctioned off. This creates social influence and wealth. But it also forms the prerequisite for food production on a broader scale. And this has made Oman successfully self-supporting. The basis of this is the Aflage system, a sophisticated and creative form of agriculture which utilizes the sparse natural resources of water and land in the most effective way. The Aflage differ as widely as the places where they've been established. They can be narrow streams, run through tunnels or deep ditches, nestle against mountains, flow straight as a die, or meander, just as the landscape demands. At every location, however, they have to be maintained and administered. Thus, the most important and highly respected people in every settlement are the watermen. And in Rustak, like everywhere else, there is a water master, a kind of mayor who enjoys ultimate authority. In Rustak, the apportionment of water can still be measured with a sundial made of stones. Every 6 hours, on the instruction of the water master, the sluices of the various channels are either opened or closed to change the direction in which the water flows. No one can remember how long things have been this way. In Oman, everyday life is centered entirely on the Aflage. The country is crisscrossed by thousands of kilometers of water channels, Oman's network of life-giving arteries. The towers on the tops of mountains are the hallmarks of water. They indicate the presence of a watercourse. Before oil was discovered, water was the country's greatest resource. So the water towers also had a defensive character. From them, observers had a clear view of thieves and enemies. Sometimes battles were fought over water. Water is revered. It is looked after and used as a precious, almost sacred commodity. Before worshipping in the mosque, devout Muslims in Izki wash their feet in the old Falaj and pray every day that the sources of life in Oman may never run dry. Oman's irrigation system, the Aflage, has turned large areas of the country into tropical gardens. Not by chance, not as nature intended, but through the skill and inventiveness of a people who wanted to survive in the otherwise inhospitable stony desert of the Arabian Peninsula. From the wadis and the few springs, the Omanis have created an optimum supply network that requires not a single technical aid. It merely uses natural gradients. From generation to generation, the Omanis have handed down their wisdom by word of mouth. Knowledge of how to build channels, reservoirs and distribution systems. Knowledge of the position of the sun, of the stars and their constellations, and of the phases of the moon. With the waters of the Aflage, they conquered this arid land. More than 4,500 years ago, archaeologists believe. That is how far back traces go of the Omanis as a courageous, seafaring people. But all that is in the past, whereas the Aflage still flow as the focal point of life in Oman.